Here's what's interesting to the Worcester right now, because don't make me shut this bad boy down again.
All right. Let her talk.
People make the decisions they can make about what they can do. The problem with the school system is we allow failing schools because we don't bolster them. We don't pay teachers. We don't take care of the students that need to be taken care of.
Stop whatever you're doing right now, because we're about to get an educational lesson on education and how we need to go forward with it by the cast of The View. You heard it here first. The show that is notoriously known for spouting nonsense on a 24/7 basis is going to give us a little update on what is right and what is wrong and how we should go forward in education. But to be honest, there is once in a while the Republican representative on that show, even though she voted for Kamala, I'm pretty sure she has a relatively good take every once in a while. And in this case, I think she actually does. But before we get into that, subscribe to RTN News. You know why? Because it ensures to YouTube that you're enjoying our content, and it will keep showing our content in your feed and push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
He didn't do it in his first term.
Can I just say something?
Yes, go ahead.
Choice,
Go ahead.
'cause
Yeah.
I think it's really important. You know, when you hear about school choice, it's really connected to the voucher system. And I encourage everybody to read up on that. What happens, the Department of Education is responsible for $18.4 billion that fund high poverty K through 12 schools. Schools where kids are poor. Kids that grew up in neighborhoods like I grew up in the South Bronx projects. $15.5 billion from the Department of Education is used to cover the cost of children with disabilities, children that have dyslexia, children that have other learning needs, that learn differently. And what happens with vouchers, the studies show very clearly that they fund students who are already attending private schools. So people with money get those vouchers, use the vouchers to pay less for their private schools, and their kids go on to do well. Where do you get the money from vouchers? You pull those money from those poor schools, those poor schools.
I don't see it.
Let me just finish this. So wealthy families are overwhelmingly the recipients of school voucher tax credits. I'm not making this up. This has been studied.
Who's
In
that
2020, a 2020 study found that only about half of states with voucher programs require teachers to have a bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training, require teachers to have licensing,
that's just not my
require
experience.
participating private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
But because I have children and because I looked at
I went to public school. I believe you got to go to private school.
There is zero statistical significance.
You got to go to private school.
Because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now. No, there is no last thing right now. We're going to go to break, and then we're going to come back.
Yes.
Because you can't, what's happening is no one can hear anything anyone is saying, so everybody has to
on it so we can talk.
Well,
that
you know,
goes for you too, my dear.
That's
for a word, and she's been talking
for
3
We'll
minutes.
be right
back. Oh, this is going to be so fun. I'm for school of choice completely. I think you should be able to choose whatever school your kid gets to go to if you're in an area where things are not, the education system's not running properly. And not to say that we shouldn't try and give these schools the resources they need and figuring out all the logistics behind how to make that school better. We should, but I think in real time, while you're currently going through this process with your child, they don't have the 10 years or 5 years, however long it's going to take for them to revamp the school and make things better for their education. So I think you should be able to do that. And it's funny how she pointed out, Sunny, didn't you go to a private school, but you're out here talking about all this nonsense? It's interesting because Sunny just thinks she's right about everything, and it's unbearable to have to witness as a person who has to consume content daily. And she's always has the content for me. She's always giving me something to react to. But we're gonna get into this more because I want to hear what else they have to say about the school choice stuff.
I'm going to go back to the convo that we were having.
Must we? All right, go ahead. I'm not going to say I hate that he won. I don't feel that way, but I do want to be very clear-eyed about the policies. And so the last point that I was going to make is there is zero statistical significance that voucher programs improve overall student success. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Research has shown that students who use voucher programs to leave a public school and then attend a private school do worse academically,
But Linda
especially in
McMahon,
math and
who is
English.
going to head the Department of
That's just the
Education, gave $21 million to Trump. And that's why she's in that position.
If I could just respond to
Dr.
that,
Oz
though.
won 5 Emmys, and that's why he's in that position.
I personally worked on the DC Opportunity Scholarship Program when I was working in Congress. In that program alone, which is a charter school system, it experienced a 21% increase in graduation rates. There are conflicting statistics, but according to Morning Consult, the majority of Americans support health savings account, vouchers, and the taxpayer money following the students. It is my belief, as somebody who grew up in the public school system, believes in it, and was grateful to be in a really good school district. If you're in a school that's falling behind and your parent wants to give you the opportunity to get a leg up, your tax dollars should follow you.
Question, but you're a school charter person, and this is part I don't understand. Doesn't it come down to less the result and more the choice of isn't the fight for the parents to say they choose it? Is that what most people are supporting?
It's simply that a parent should be able to make the best choice for their student. But I also think that there are schools that are falling behind. It doesn't mean they don't deserve education, but I don't think students should be victims of a falling behind school. Their life is at stake in it, their future, their earning potential.
But see, you went to a good school.
I agree. Parents, they have to make the best decision for their kids. Like, if you're working in education, you're working in changing the whole structure of the education system. Let's say, like you said, some of these schools are falling behind. I totally am in agreement that we need to do things as the government, as a school system, whoever's in the educational system, to make the schools better. All schools should become better environments, have better qualifications that need to be upheld for each individual school. Totally fine. Let's improve those schools and make them better. But as a parent, in real time, while I'm trying to get my kid the best education possible, I should be able to have the right to put them at a school that is currently better than the one that they're at, regardless of my zip code. And I'm 100% in favor of the parents having that decision to help their kid have a greater education than to focus on the school solely, because that's not my job. My job is to make sure that school becomes better and improves, although I would love for that to be the case. My job is to make sure that my kid has the best education possible so that they can thrive in their future endeavors. So that is the side that I will always align on.
I wasn't in a good school district. That's the inequity.
But where did you go to school?
In the South. I had to start school in the South Bronx projects. But
then didn't you get to go to a private school?
Here's what's interesting to the Worcester right now, because don't make me shut this bad boy down again.
All right.
Let her talk.
People make the decisions they can make about what they can do. The problem with the school system is we allow failing schools because we don't bolster them. We don't pay teachers. We don't take care of the students that need to be taken care of. I've been in both. I've been in charter schools, I've been in public schools, I've been in private schools. People make the decisions they make. What I want to make sure of is that she doesn't touch things and get rid of things like Head Start.
Yeah, totally agree.
That, for me, is a big, don't come in doing that, because then you're telling me you don't care if youngins get that education.
Right. Didn't your mother teach you that?
My mother was a Head Start teacher. And what we saw was that once you talk to children and show children, they are interested in learning. But you also have to take the teachers, and you've got to pay them a living wage
and provide
make sure that they can afford to teach.
And that's the thing. Your education should not be tied to where you live. Should not be tied to your
though.
No, it's actually not, because what happens
that
with
is the argument for busing.
But what happens with it's an argument.
That is literally the argument for school choice. Because of my zip code, because of where I live, I should not be forced to go to this rundown, raggedy-daggedy school that has terrible teachers, isn't updated on books, or isn't updated on all the things that's necessary for proper, conducive to a good learning experience for the child. Is literally what the argument for school choice. So I can go to this one over here that has a better education system. That is literally the argument for it. Now, there may be another one that I have not heard of, but that's why people want school choice. I don't want to be forced to be at this school in the zip code.
It's an argument for busing, not school choice, because what happens is when you live in an impoverished neighborhood like I lived in, you do not get the funding the funding under a voucher program is taken away from your school and given to another school.
But on the flip side of that very same argument is why school choice advocates say your zip code should not determine your outcome. You should, there's this great school, Duke Ellington in DC, it's a performing arts school.
That's a great
It brings
school.
kids from parts of DC that are falling behind, but if they can get in, their life can be completely
But
turned around.
you just said the magic word.
Well, they need to have parents who are involved.
Well, not even.
And they need to be able to pay the balance. And they can't.
No, it's the taxpayer dollar falling, and that's what a voucher is. It's not paying it.
Schools.
It's a taxpayer dollar following them. They're not paying it. That's what about. Sounds like they might not even know what it is. And here's the thing. One thing about me, I am not an expert on the education system or I'm not privy to every single thing that's going on here. But I was always told that too. Your tax dollars go to the school you were trying to put your kid to. So if that is what it is, there should be no negatives against that. And if you why are you trying to enforce people to stay within that education system? And like I said, it's like two different arguments. I'm with Sunny, I believe this is what she's saying, in making sure education system is better for every school. We hope every school in America is up to par with the best resources, teachers, qualified people in positions of power and authority that can help these kids have a good education. I'm in full agreement that is something that should be the goal, and we should take steps to improve those things. And I guess taking tax dollars away from them by having a kid choosing to go another one, I understand that could be a little sucky, but at the same time, it's parents aren't going to prioritize the school. They're going to prioritize their kid. And I would prioritize my kid. So I understand that to a degree, what she's saying, but ultimately as a parent, as an individual, you are going to put your child first and their education first, and you're not going to wait year after year after year after year, because you know how government works and in education, they take forever to make moves and to take steps forward. And so it's I'm not going to sit there and wait for my kid to have to graduate in a terrible school system if I can put them somewhere else. I think that makes sense. So, but it's always nice to see the View coming at each other's throats because they're so annoying. They're so annoying. Sunny just thinks she's right about everything. It's shut up, but whatever. And then Whoopi's the mom. All right, everyone. All right, let's calm down. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this in the comments. Make sure you subscribe, sharing, liking, engaging, all that fun stuff, because as I said previously, it pushes it through the algorithm. You can get more of us on your feed and more people can see us as well. So anyways, thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Peace.